Pet Beastro got started, I actually had a pet that was ill, and we found out that he had cancer, and he was 10 and a half years old. And because of his age, we weren't going to do the conventional treatments of radiation or chemo. And at that point, our veterinarian had discussed with us possibly going to a raw, natural diet. And once we did that, the benefits, I mean, we were looking at only a few months left of him with his life, and just switching to a raw diet, actually he lived for another 3.5 more years. So that made me a pretty firm believer in the raw diet. Then I got my first animal on my own. That was actually when I lived with my parents. So when I got my first dog on my own, I was feeding kibble. I guess I didn't, not that I didn't know any better, it was, raw was really hard to source about 10 years ago. So I had some issues with her. We had some colitis problems, and about 3 weeks into the colitis, she was lethargic. She was dehydrated. She wasn't eating at that point. She had some digestive upset issues. She was vomiting, and I knew what the vet was prescribing was not working. I had to find a different option. So at that point, I leaned back onto what I learned with our family dog growing up, and I switched her to a raw diet. So after 3 weeks of running around trying to figure out what was going to work and trying to make her better, switching her to a raw diet actually corrected all of the problems within about 36 hours. She was back to eating, she was back to feeling better, she was back to playing and being herself. So I knew at that point I had to do something. This was much bigger than just my own dog. So I started distributing for Almost Pride, I believe in 2004. So Almost Pride was actually starting to come to my house. I was distributing out of my house, and that just grew and grew and grew to the point that we were getting very large shipments at about 5,000 pounds at our house, and I didn't have the storage space for that. So at that point I said, we got to do something. That was in like beginning of 2007. So in the end of 2007, October is when we opened our first retail store.